Story 1. Just world fallacy. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. Sometimes bad people are rewarded. Being raised in a pure meritocracy, you get out what you put in environment is incredibly damaging to self-esteem. Story 2. Carrots improve your vision. That was a lie the British started so the Germans wouldn't know they had radar. It was believed by my mother, who forced me to eat carrots to help with my eyesight. I now wear glasses. Thanks, Mom. Story 3. Santa Claus. Santa is the only lie that nearly every person from every celebrating country experiences and also perpetuates throughout their lives. It's also an incredibly expensive lie. The National Retail Federation estimates that U.S. holiday spending, which I imagine Christmas accounts for a majority of the spending, is projected to amount to $960 billion in 2024, making it a nearly $1 trillion industry. And that's only the U.S. retail sales statistics. Celebrators also hold many fond memories of Christmas, and it has greatly affected our memories at a time when we are extremely impressionable and vulnerable human beings. There are many more points to this, but Santa has to be the one. Story 4. The text with corrections and without special characters or acronyms would read, that bad people are held accountable for their actions after they die or before is pure nonsense. If they can get away with it their whole life, they can also do so until they die. Divine justice is the greatest lie ever told, in my opinion. Story 5. I was not very wise when I was a freshman in high school. Sure, you say, all freshmen make poor decisions. Well, I was a different case. I decided it would be fun to get high at school, so I proceeded to fill the bathroom with smoke during the break after lunch. Usually, I wouldn't make it smell much because I would use my pipe, but my pipe had just broken, so I foolishly rolled up a joint to smoke in the bathroom, which is the method that produces the most smell. So, I did that and then got paranoid and passed it off to my friend. Well, that was the best decision I could have ever made. When the bell rang, everyone came out into the hallway and started talking about how it smelled like weed. My heart sank, and I just sat in that period feeling extremely anxious. Then I get the news that the principal is in the bathroom I was in, so I know something is wrong. That period goes by, and I go to my art class, however. I am immediately pulled out by the principal and the school resource officer. I just play ignorant the entire time, and when they ask about the smell in the bathroom, I just say I have no idea and didn't notice. When they say, it smelled like marijuana, I just flat out say, really? I wouldn't even know what that smells like, with my eyes red. Thankfully, since there was nothing in my bag and the joint was triple sealed, so there was also barely any smell. I got away with it, and I think about it every single day. Story 6. Around 1997, I was 12 years old. The internet was not something common in most households. As our male hormones started to spike, my classmates and I became really interested in nudity pornography. We could not have access to porn magazines, although some stole them from their parents or the real bad boy from stores. I came up with a business by printing hardcore pornography when I was home alone. Those pictures I sold for 2 to 5 euros according to the popularity of the images. Fake Britney Spears. Topanga from Boy Meets World was very popular. I stored them in secret in a school atlas we barely used, and my parents would never open. Later, in other spots. One day we had an exam for history that required the school atlas. Totally forgotten it had hardcore pornography, some very extreme, which some people would not even consider as humanly possible. Fill in the insinuation as you will. In it, it lay on my desk. The teacher, female, came around to check if we did not have cheat shears. She opened the book and like in a blazing autumn wind, the pictures blew across the class. I'm talking real hardcore pornography in a silent class of an exam filled with amazed kids. I was shocked. I did not know how to talk myself out of this. The teacher looked as shocked as me and told me to come with her to the hallway. She had these angry eyes and I always feared her. When we were in the hallway, she looked at me. I felt so small. She laid her hand on my shoulder and asked me, "Are you being bullied? Who do you think did this to you?" I was amazed and played it along. Used my fear as a masking emotion to tell her in tears. Everybody hates me. I don't know who it was. I went to the principal to tell my story. I was tricked into it, and everyone comforted me as if I was a victim. After that, I closed my business. Story 7, we have the evidence. It's incredible. They're bringing it. Just hold on. Giuliani told the lie for months. Lawsuit after lawsuit failed. Then last year in his Georgia trial, he admitted under oath that he lied every time he said it to stall while they were looking for the evidence. Never found it. This was the greatest lie ever told because tens of millions of people still believe it even though they've never seen any actual, real evidence. Proof of the fact that if you repeat a lie often enough, it just becomes a fact to some people, at least. I don't think I've ever seen a rally attendee supporting Make America Great Again admit Trump lost in 2020. Like, it's okay they lied, I'm still voting for Trump. Nope, it's now the truth for them and probably will be until they die. Story 8. In order to be successful, it is often said that you must go to college. Then, we take out $60,000 in student loans to make just above the poverty line. But now, we have $60,000 in crippling debt that accrues to triple that amount if you pay on time every month. Story 9. That the Federal Reserve and Federal Reserve banks would be a good idea. Let's move our money backing from a gold-backed standard and let's base it off of oil and credit. That way they can manipulate the market, print tons of money to increase inflation, and create an imaginary money scheme where they can say you owe them and need a certain score to buy things. Story 10. Do not lose hope. Everything will be all right. My life would have caved in on me if I sat on my behind waiting for everything to be all right. We create our own salvation. Story 11. All the cheaters who break wedding vows. To have and to hold, to forsake others while they are happily cheating away. So many wedding vows are lies, lies, lies. Story 12. That a deity ordains kings. The very concept of free will in some religions would make this an unjust thing to do. Giving individuals free will but forcing them to live under the ideals of one man doesn't add up. Story 13. Given the scope of history, I hate that my submission is so recent, but Saddam Hussein is building weapons of mass destruction. Thousands of Americans dead, up to 1 million Iraqis dead, over $1 trillion wasted, America's credibility permanently tarnished, and it could be easily argued that the war on terror was the genesis of the tremendous rift that has opened up in American culture and politics. What makes me hate this answer is that it's the only factual lie that I can think of that's had such enormous ramifications. The sinking of the Maine is up there, but not to the same level. There are plenty of instances of half-truths or misleading ideas causing horrible results, but a straight-up lie having a massive result is more rare. Most other atrocities aren't necessarily based on an outright lie, but rather huge egos and ambition, grudges, differences in religious or governing philosophy, greed over resources, and other things that have gone wildly wrong. Story 14. Everything happens for a reason. Are we supposed to believe that school shootings happen for a reason? Or rape? Or incest? Or child abuse? Or elder abuse? Or the murder of a child? Or a child having cancer? I could go on and on. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say everything happens for a reason when any of these things happen, unless the child with cancer recovers. Story 15. I'm okay. It is said so much daily by so many people. If you can see through it, then it becomes alarming how many people are barely hanging on. I know because I bartend, and more often than not, I'll get someone who needs that person to hear them out or just someone to help them forget for a night. Story 16. Be nice to people and you'll have a lot of friends. Yeah, sure, they'll use you and hurt you at any chance they get. Don't be too freaking nice. Ask yourself, what do I want? What makes me happy? Story 17. Eating raw cookie dough will give you salmonella. You all are some liars. I have never had it happen. There is something like a 0.6% chance you get salmonella from cookie dough. Compare that to statistics. The Interagency Food Safety Analytics Collaboration estimates that over 23% of foodborne salmonella illnesses are due to eating chicken and turkey. So, you all really had me stressing about cookie dough when no one is here telling me, don't eat undercooked turkey. You'll get salmonella, even though it's statistically far more likely. Story 18. That all men are created equal. We do not all have the same opportunities or abilities that others have. A rich man will always have a leg up on a poor man. Story 19. There's an invisible man living in the sky who watches everything you do, every minute of every day. The invisible man has a special list of 10 things he does not want you to do. If you do any of these 10 things, he has a special place, full of fire, smoke, burning, torture, and anguish, where he will send you to live, suffer, burn, choke, scream, and cry forever and ever until the end of time. But he loves you. Story 20. The shared delusion we perpetuate as a species, where we ignore the pointlessness of the universe, is probably the biggest. Every day, and in every way, we deny this undeniable fact. Story 21. You'll get in less trouble if you tell the truth. Frankly, it's usually the other way around. If you get caught lying, people are so busy being mad that you lied they don't actually care about the wrong thing you did in the first place. Story 22. Getting married is the most important commitment you will make in your life. Without committing to honor your own wellness and values, there is no marriage in the world that can survive. Story 23. If you don't go to college and get a degree, you'll struggle financially your whole life. I went into the military, then learned a trade. I make well over $120,000 a year, and I have no debt from college. I took classes for free in the military, and I got paid to learn a trade by my union. Story 24. Wives telling their husbands that seeing them do dishes and laundry is like foreplay, and that they will get laid if they help more. Spoiler alert, you will not.